Hey everyone, Mr. Dempsey here. This is a guide for preseason round 7 of the Manufacturer Series. Let's get this started. Your first braking point is just at the 100 meter mark. You want to brake as much as you can for a short moment of time, bring yourself down to second gear, ease off the brakes to get the car to rotate. Try not to hit the yellow curb too much as that will make the car unstable. Make sure you slowly start to accelerate so you don't end up understeering onto the off-track area. When you reach the 100 meter mark, you'll brake as much as you can. As you start to turn in, you can quickly go down to first gear to get the car to rotate a little bit more, and as you hit the apex, you can go back to second gear and start to accelerate. This time, you'll brake right before the 100 meter mark, but make sure you do not brake on the curbs on the left. So as you're braking on the tarmac, just brake as much as you can, slowly ease off on the brakes and take advantage of the inside curb. Once you're about to pass this yellow line that goes across the track, that is when you can start to fully accelerate. Use the 50 meter mark as your braking point, so you'll brake hard for a moment, then just slowly ease off on the brakes and be very patient with your throttle input. When the piece of track from the right joins in with the main track, you'll be doing the same thing as you did for the last turn. Short burst of braking, then be very patient on the throttle. Brake just before the 50 meter mark, brake hard for a moment, then slowly ease off on the brakes. Be very patient with the throttle input. Then before the red and white area on the left ends, you'll brake hard for a moment, then slowly ease off on the brakes. Do not take too much advantage of the apex as that will get you an off-track penalty. But that's all for the guide. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. For the qualifying session, you only have 5 minutes to do what you need to do, which, well, let's face it, it's not much time. And part of those 5 minutes, you're going to be spending it trying to get out of the pit stop. So as you see here, it's going to take me about half a minute to just get out of the pit stop. So once you gain control of your car, you just want to bring yourself to the left side of the track or just away from any cars going fast and start to fuel burn. The fuel consumption rate is not that high, so you're not going to be able to burn that much fuel. And you're only going to be able to burn fuel in this first lap. So once you reach the second hairpin, you want to start to speed things up a little bit, especially if you know you have someone that you want to follow to get the slipstream from. So in this case, I'm following this French driver in the Corvette. I'm going to the pit stop and I'm going to go on over to a new set of racing soft tires. And the moment that we get out of the pit stop, we're just going to go for it. We're going to be cutting it a bit close on time, so you don't have that much time to do any fuel burn, nothing like that. You just got to go out there, get your outlap done, and then start your one and only flying lap. So right now we have 1 minute and 45 seconds on the time, and we should be good. Our lap times are around the 130s, so we're just going to speed things up a little bit through here. Just fast forward the clip. Just try to get this lap over with. We're just going as fast as we can, pretty much going at race pace. And we're just going to fast forward through this a little bit more. So once again, you're only going to fuel burn your first lap. Your second lap and your third laps are pretty much your race pace laps. And this third lap will be our flying lap. So we started the lap with 15 seconds remaining, which will carry on over to a second countdown. And if you're behind someone, just make sure that you brake a little bit earlier, because in this case I used my normal braking point and I almost ended up punting the person ahead of me. So we're going to keep on going, just trying to complete this lap while trying to stay behind their slipstream, because it is going to make a difference, and we'll see it at the end of the lap, which should be coming up right about now. So as we're about to see, we get a 135.9, which is a good lap time, and we ended up being 4/10 ahead of the person in front of us because we were getting some of the good slipstream. If I didn't mess up at the hairpin, the time would have obviously been better. But anyways, let's go to the summary. So when you start your qualifying, you do some fuel burning, go in for new tires. Then for your second lap, Just try to complete it as fast as you can, and your third lap will be your flying lap, and that will conclude the qualifying session. For the race strategy, fuel shouldn't be an issue. You will be cutting it a bit close, but you will have just enough fuel to be able to finish the race. If the thought of that makes you worried that you might end up running out of fuel somehow, you can shift right before the bar on the bottom of the screen fills up, and you should be good to go. Now, as for the tires, you want to stay on racing soft tires until you reach your last pit stop. How long you want to stay on those racing soft tires will depend on your car. So some cars might be able to use the racing soft tires for a bit longer, and some will be able to use it for a shorter amount of time. So for cars that have pretty heavy tire wear, you can go 6 laps with the racing soft tires. For cars with average tire wear, you can go 7 laps with racing soft tires. And for cars with lighter tire wear, it's possible to go 8 laps with racing soft tires. Just make sure you know when you need to pit, because in this case I actually forgot to pit on lap 7, so I went extra lap and my tires were suffering because of that. So with all these cars pitting in at different times, it's going to be a little difficult to know when each car or where each car is in terms of their stint. So for example, with this Lexus, I found out right away at the hairpin that either he was at the end of his racing soft stint or he was on racing hard tires. And that is simply because they had a hard time just going through that corner. So with the car ahead of us, I know that they pitted for racing soft tires at the end of lap 6. So right here at the end of lap 11, I know that their tires are suffering. So they're either going to pit in now or pit at the end of lap 12. So if you don't know by now, this is going to be a 2-stop race. So what you want to do is start on racing soft tires, then change on over to a new set of racing soft tires, and then finish the race with a set of racing hard tires. However, if you are starting towards the back, you can start on racing hard tires to get those out of the way. So then when you switch on over to your first and eventually second set of racing soft tires, you'll be able to push the car a lot more and hopefully be able to gain positions that way. Now, when it comes to the racing medium tires, I don't really see why you should use them unless if your driving style and your car just somehow has like the absolute worst tire wear. But other than that, your pace is going to obviously be slower on the racing medium tires, and the racing medium tires themselves don't last much longer than the racing soft tires to really make it worth it. So for example, here we have a player in a car that has pretty heavy tire wear towards the front tires, and he's going to go 6 laps on the racing soft tires. And once again, he's not on the racing medium tires, as even though his tires will last a bit longer, his pace will suffer overall. So he's going to go ahead and pit in at the end of lap 6. Then later on, he's going to pit at the end of lap 12 for a new set of racing hard tires, and he's going to complete the race with those tires. And the racing hard tires are going to last quite a while, because here we are 5 laps into the stint with the racing hard tires, and they're doing all right. So there is some wear on the front tires, but it's nothing detrimental compared to being on the racing soft tires for 5 laps in this car. And yeah, so if you're in a car with heavier tire wear, you just want to use racing soft tires anyways. Just make sure you use them for 6 laps and then change on over to a new set of tires. If you're on a car with average tire wear, you can do 7 laps on the racing soft tires. And if you're in a car with good tire wear, it's possible to do 8 laps on the racing soft tires. And just don't forget to change it over to racing hard tires at some point in the race, as those are the required tires for this race. But anyways, that is all for this guide. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.